Great. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday, August 13th, Radnor Township School District Finance Committee meeting. And I'd like to get introductions underway. We have Penny Tansey here with us tonight. Shel Deco is not able to be here, so we'll start off with administrative remarks. Welcome, Penny.
Thank you. I have no remarks tonight.
None. That was pretty easy. Okay. We're going to segue right into public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to make some public comment. All righty, seeing none, we're going to move into the approval of minutes. If everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes of the June 4th Finance Committee meeting, are we good with the minutes? Okay, seeing no changes, we'll mark those for the board meeting for approval and move right into agenda item 4.1. These are action items that we will see on the August 27th agenda. Let's see, we have a series of things here, the new insurance rates, the contract with Interquest, a bunch of disposals. Thank you for outlining those for us. The approval of the bus routes, the financial reports, the rentals for the Roberts Roads houses, and the approval to waive tuition. I have one slight change for this, but does anybody have any questions on the items for approval at the August 27th meeting? Okay.
I have a list of questions, but I sent them to Michelle, not realizing she wasn't going to be here. I copied you on that
Right,
email.
yes, I saw them.
I guess if we can get those answered by the board meeting, that would be good. I had questions about why, was there an increase in this cost? What, why was this chart broken out this way?
Right.
Those kinds of things.
Okay.
And if you have questions about my questions, let me know, but I won't take time tonight to go through them again.
What if you have questions about the questions?
Oh, stop. The only change I'm going to ask us to make is that technically we will be ratifying approval of of waiving tuition for the 2018-19 school year for Radnor Better Chance students. It was just an oversight that was not on last year's agenda.
How many kids?
10 students last year, 10 this
So
year.
normally we put a value in there? Will there be a value in there?
So
for-
let's, Penny, if you could make a note and ask Michelle to add the dollar value, but it's two separate things. It'll be a ratifying that we waive tuition and then an approval to waive tuition.
Has it been 10 for a number of years now? I just can't. I feel like there was
It's varied,
more. I mean,
but it's around 10.
and people hate when I say this, but I feel like it was more back in the day.
I think it's been as high as 12, but the house is no bigger than 12
Yeah.
students, so.
Well, then they have the back. So, yeah.
And in any event, so that will be the slight change to that, and we'll work to get your questions answered. Penny will add the dollar amount for the value. And moving into personnel, we have a few agenda changes to the supplementals. I will just say the current title and the new title for graduation coordinator. This is one that I discussed with Todd Stitzel when we were talking about the agenda. I said, graduation coordinator, why are we increasing the graduation coordinator 75 hours a year? Graduation doesn't take that much more work. And really what I came to understand is that the graduation coordinator actually does a series of things all year long, which is why we've really made the decision to change the title to senior year activities. So there was a conversation,
So I
about that
appreciate
one.
that, because I had the same exact thought. But the senior year activities, how is that not that the class sponsors are already responsible?
Different items. So these are things, and actually, PT, maybe you can come up after all. These are things like baccalaureate, going over the names for the diplomas. There was a couple of things at the beginning of the school year
The
that
award ceremony.
the award ceremony.
Which is a large
Well,
undertaking.
let's welcome our new principal
our
to
new
our first
principal.
finance committee meeting.
So, thank you
No.
for being here, Mrs.
She looks
Teplis.
rested, tanned, ready to go for the school
Ready
year.
to
Welcome the
go.
kids back in 2 weeks.
Right.
So graduation coordinator, I did hold that position for many years, so I know it very well, Patty. It is incredibly involved in terms of senior events. So to answer your question in regard to the class sponsors, they will take care of LM, they'll take care of doing the senior semi-formal, and they'll take care of organizing the prom. Outside of that, so ordering the diplomas, ordering the jacket covers, ordering the caps and gowns, getting the kids' size, getting all the information organized, how the name should appear on the diplomas, making sure that it's approved by the parents. Working with Villanova to make sure that graduation day is ready to go, organizing who's going to be there, the processional and all those items. Really start the first week of September and are continual throughout the year. So it's not, one event and then done. They organize baccalaureate, they organize class night. which are really, to be honest, very, very detailed events, but also really in the spotlight. If you screw up graduation, everyone's going to know. It's a
Yeah,
pretty
right.
high-profile
Okay.
event, and they work really, really tireless hours, and so it really was something that had to be reconsidered.
Which is the reason I made the suggestion for the title change, because I do think it reflects more accurately, they are working all through the year. It works out to about 2 hours apiece for each 2 hours a week for each coordinator. It's like, all right, well, it might not be 2 hours at the end of October, but it sure as heck is more than 2 hours come April, May, and June, so.
Okay.
Any event. While you're here, just the library clerk, do you have the information about that? Because I do, if you don't.
I do not have it with me.
Okay, so had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Bechtold about this last week. It was something he actually put in for this. So our library.
We
clerk-
did speak about it,
Yeah,
yes.
the library clerk is going to be doing some working with students during the school day, I believe, or maybe right after school, having students work in the archiving, and it's going to be a half an hour per day. This is an opportunity to work with students in the archiving of the Hall of Fame, and which is apparently part of the library.
So it's a very detailed project, and there's a lot of special skills, that go along with being an archivist, and we're lucky enough to have someone on staff who has those,
Right.
has that ability. And so she is really excited to work with the kids and to let them be a part of the process. One of the things that we talked to her about was, how important it was for her to do training with the kids to make sure that we handle the materials properly as we start this project. So there's a lot that's going to be involved.
That's cool. So then the kids will be able to move forward into like a history degree or a library or archivist degree,
They
so
could.
then they can go work in a museum or something like that.
Yep.
Right, but we did it as a part of the workday, not the supplemental, because she'll be working with the students during the contracted day.
Correct.
That's the reason it's not a
Correct.
supplemental,
Yes.
okay?
So to
thank
capture
you.
the most kids, our thought was to be able to do it during the day because they're involved in so many activities after school.
Right.
And we want to make sure it's open to all the kids.
And how many years do we foresee this continuing?
That's a great question. So Michael Petiti and I have
Forever.
been talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
Initially we thought perhaps a year, but I think it's a multi-year project if we really want to do it right.
Okay. It's just something we should probably make sure we're watching. Because I assume it's not here that there is, I
Well, I
know
mean,
there's an
once you're
additional
done-
cost to it.
Well, I was just thinking,
Yeah.
once you get done archiving that project, then you can move on to other things. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in this building that needs to be archived.
You're just spending money left and right, Mr. Miller.
All right. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Keffy.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Well, you gotta learn where you come from, so you know where you're
You're
going.
going.
So
Oh,
that,
he's gonna wax philosophical. Here we go. We've got,
You can spend your money efficiently and not repeat the same things over and over.
all righty. So then with regard to the middle school supplementals, these are recommendations that, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, mostly came from Mr. Fulgenetti from his time here as our substitute principal, or did they come from somewhere else?
Correct. They originated from there, but I believe Todd can come
Oh,
up. I had a
no,
chance
that's
to
right.
talk
These
to
are-
to Dr. Wadlick as well before bringing them forward.
And
But I'll let
most of
Todd-
these are positions we had, but we were doing 1099s, correct? All right.
Correct.
Welcome, Mr. Stitzel, our HR director.
So the basic ones that you see no change are on there, but the additional one of the new choreographer, that we actually 1099 based on talking to Michelle. So that money, even though it lists new there, it is a new supplemental, however, it is not new to the budget.
Okay.
And there is an increased number of hours for the theater producer. And talking to Mr. Fulgenetti, he talked to the music department and as well as the new principal, Wildlick. Based on the information they received, they'd like to increase those hours of roughly 35 hours, based on what the hours have been happening in the previous
Yeah,
years.
based on, real life of.
Correct. A few years ago, we did all the supplementals, and we agreed that every year we would come back and look at it and tweak some if needed.
Yes, we did do that. Okay. Do we have any other questions about these? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Stitzel. So then, Penny, do you have anything to give us a high-level view of the PlanCon approval? I mean, we got the big packet that's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
You just turned it off.
it really is just a formality to put it on the agenda for it to just go forward so that we
Okay.
can get funds back from the state.
right. So, this is all because of the refunding that we did a few years ago. So we'll be moving this onto the agenda for approval. I do want to just let the committee know, we had on the agenda, but I pulled it, we're going to bring it into September. Apparently, we have an opportunity to do even a little bit more refunding, so we're going to be, Zach Willard's going to come in September to talk to us about tweaking the parameters of the resolution, the parameters resolution we did a few months ago, because it's
Financing, you mean?
the refinancing parameters that we did, because it's we're gonna be able to potentially take advantage of interest rates and do one or two more bonds and save a little bit more money. So, just know in September he's coming back. All right, so you'll see this on the PlanCon approval on the agenda in August. Do we have any new business?
Mr.
I
Stutzel.
actually do.
Okay,
I was given the nurses last year. I took them over and I've been supervising them, and I did not know this was happening this month, but we need to put on for Dr. Rockland, who is our physician for retainer, for the screenings and the nurses and that, and there will be 2 other contracts for substitute nurses that you'll see on there. So I apologize, but it happened after the agenda went out that I was notified that I needed to put it on.
so our physician who we hire every year,
Yes, it's
and
just
then
renewal.
2 additional substitute nurses.
Yeah, what we have, it's renewal of the contracts. 2 groups helps provide us with substitute nurses when our CSNs or RNs are out.
Okay.
So you'll just see renewals of those 2 contracts, but unfortunately, as I mentioned, I did not get it on this agenda.
Okay. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. So we'll see those on the August agenda as well. Do we have any new business? Do we have any public comment? Okay, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.